Hello, Deanna Stellato-Dudek and Maxime Deschamps, the 2022 Skate America silver medalist. Congratulations!
Thank you so much.
First Grand Prix as a team, and you skate so well, and you win this medal. So what does it mean to you? How does it feel?
It feels pretty amazing. We were really happy to be here. For me, being born in the States, it was a bit of a homecoming, so I had a lot of friends and family that were here. And we just really wanted to improve upon our score and our skates from Nebelhorn. I think we were able to inch in front of those scores a little bit, so we feel like we came here and got our job done, and now we have our sights set on France in 2 weeks.
Yes, and also it was our first Grand Prix together.
Yeah.
So just to come out there, perform, and keep increasing our score was just a wonderful moment. It was really fun to share that moment with you.
Yeah.
You are a very unique team. Yes, because Deanna, everyone knows your story, Deanna, that you were a juniors world silver medalist in 2000, and then you came back to figure skating, but you didn't skate at all for 16 years, didn't you? So
no.
how did that
happen? So I had a normal job in Chicago, Illinois, and we went on a work retreat, and everyone got these little note cards while we were at lunch. It was just a fun activity. Everyone had a question, and everyone had to read it out loud, and everyone had to answer the question. And my question was, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And I just said, oh, I'd win an Olympic gold medal. And then I like everyone else went around and said their answers, and I kind of thought, oh, I can't believe I just said that. I thought I haven't skated in 16 years. Like, I thought that part of my life was parked, and I had moved on. So I thought about it for 2 weeks. I thought about that I couldn't believe that I had said that. And so finally I asked my mom to get my 16-year-old boots and blades out of her basement, and she had to dust them off. There was dust on them, and try to skate again and see kind of what I could do. And I mean, certainly if you would have told me when I went on that first public session and was so nervous about doing a single axel again for the first time that I would be here 5 years later, I wouldn't believe you.
And then you decided to go into pairs.
Yes, yeah. So that was a very kind of serendipitous scenario. My coach, who coached me at Junior Worlds in 2000 and the Junior Grand Prix final in 1999, she had moved to Florida. So I was going down there to visit her, and as happenstance would have it, the same weekend I was there, the head of U.S. figure skating happened to be there at the same time. And he recognized me right away, and he said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, just came to visit Cindy, my coach, and just seeing what I could do. And he's like, "Do you want to skate again?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about it." And he was like, "Well, I really think that you should consider pairs if you're going to come back to skate again." And I was asked to do pairs when I was a single skater because I was the same size that I am now. So I said, okay, on this second time around, I'm not going to ignore anything anybody says. I'm going to take every chance that's given to me. And so when that opportunity presented itself, I said, I'm going to do it. And I did it right away. And I thought, oh my, I love this. How did I never do this before? I love it. So it was love at first lift for me for pair skating.
Yeah, it's amazing because not only that you came back after such a long break, and as you said, you got your elements back so quickly.
Yeah.
But then starting a new discipline with many new different elements.
Yeah, for sure. I used to say, as a viewer of pairs, because I watched pairs in the 90s and Gordiega and Greenkopf and Lloyd and Eisler, and it was that was like the big time in skating, and we used to watch all those pairs, and I used to think a death spiral was a break for the girl until I did one. It's like, oh,
no,
it's not a break,
is a break
at all.
Nothing is a break.
Yeah, but Maxime, you also have a very interesting story because
Yes.
we've learned Deanna is your ninth partner.
Yes.
Number 9, lucky number 9.
Is it so what happened to you? So why did it take you so long to find a suitable partner?
I think it just a matter of circumstances that those things happen. But I was always pursuing a dream always keep going, keep pushing forward. It was hard sometimes, like sometimes I was just, oh, should I just stop? Is it just not for me? But quickly I was turning around and keep pushing forward. It was a lot of perseverance and determination to keep going. Yes.
Yeah. When I had my tryout with Max, we did like a death spiral and a pear spin, and he pulled me off my feet on both of them. And I thought, oh wow, this guy has a lot of power. And I thought, how do I not know who he is? How come I'm not familiar with him at all, you know? And I came to learn that he had a lot of partners, and a lot of them were new to pairs. So it was
Yes.
very like girl focused in his previous partnerships. And one of his first partners has ever skated pairs previously, where he could then work on his skills also instead of just kind of focusing on teaching the girl how to skate pairs. But certainly, I always say my story is interesting, and so was Max's, because to persevere all that time and to finally, for both of us to find the right match with the whole circumstances, the right match, the right country, the right coaching team, it takes a long time.
You're actually my second partner only who have done pairs before, and the only one before it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're all the other one I teach them.
Yeah.
So I guess were you surprised by Deanna's abilities?
Oh, it was so fun to just start and be able to do stuff. Actually, it was also different to go with someone who have done pairs already, because then it was adaptation this time instead of just get it around of what I know, and so it was a different learning this time.
Yeah, it was.
But it was fun.
Having to kind of change and adjust technique versus just teaching the girl everything from the start. So there it was, but I think because we both had experience, it moved faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been saying that this season you were able to progress a lot more because you were finally able to fully focus on your off-season training.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that big difference, how did that feel that you were finally able to do that?
I think when we ended Four Continents last year in February, we were not happy with our performance. So we actually sat down at that event and made a list of all the things that we needed to work on. Because again, we didn't know there were going to be any retirements that there ended up being, and we wanted to be the number one team. So we said, what do we have to do to get there? And we made that list there. And I think around, like, I would say March, April, things on that list started getting checked off. So we were actually being able to cross things off the list. So that was exciting, where I feel like, oh, we're really taking the steps forward that we need to take to be where we want to be. But of course, you still don't really know until you go out and you compete and you see how your programs and your elements are received. So in Oberstdorf, when I had a small mistake in the shore and we still got a 68, that's why I was so surprised, you know, and everyone's like, we've been telling you, you've improved so much, but you don't believe it until it happens, until you see it, you know, you see that score. So
You always have a hard time believing.
yeah, I know.
Even with those scores, you have a hard time believing.
I know. I'm one of those people who I think I'm not as good as I am versus thinking I'm better than I am. But I would rather be that way and just constantly feel like I have to push than thinking that you're something you're not, you know?
It was also challenging this year. Like, yes, we had all those objectives, but to stay focused in the fact that everybody was retiring, that door was wide open, but to keep pushing forward and to keep going like if they were all there.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like, could have been really challenging, but we have been able to keep going, and I'm proud of us for it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think maybe this mindset might have to do something with the fact that you are older, more experienced athletes, also not only experienced in the sport, but also in your life.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So what do you think is the advantages of being an older
athlete? Yeah, I say all the time, because I know I'm the oldest athlete most places, but I feel like I'm in my prime, to be totally honest. I feel amazing. I feel like I'm in great shape. I have.
You are.
Thank you. I have a really good body awareness at this age, you know, as you get older. I mean, you know, God hope I'm smarter than I was when I was skating before. So if someone gives me a correction and I can fully comprehend what they're saying, I can make that correction immediately and consistently after that, versus when you're a kid, maybe you don't understand and then you're going to forget the next day. So I really feel like there's so many more advantages to being a more mature athlete than there are disadvantages. The only thing that I think is a little bit different is I have to do more recovery than the kids. Some of the kids that we train with, they get there like 10 minutes before their session starts, and I've already been there an hour, warming up. And
the energy
same thing.
Also.
Yeah, the energy also. It's just trying to mitigate it throughout the week and not like peak on a Tuesday. Trying to maintain for the whole week to come. But that's similar even for
But that has
athletes.
been a big thing we had to learn throughout our partnership, because we were always good at the beginning of the week and then we were crashing down.
Yeah.
And this year we're more constant during the week. We adjust some stuff and that has helped. Oh yeah.
And I think that's part of getting experience as a team
Yes.
together too, knowing what works for the other person, knowing his triggers when he's a little tired and I can tell, and my triggers when I'm a little tired and he can tell, and so we kind of keep each other in line.
Yeah. And also as to get older, the experience as to know yourself, and with all the past experience you have to, when it was hard moment, to pass through it, with experience you're able to get back on your feet way quicker. So this is a big thing also. And I'm also coaching a lot, and my coaching side helped me a lot and helped the team to be able to move forward. Like if we have a bad day sometime, I'm like, what will I do if I'm a coach right now? What will I do to put back the athlete in place? And those help a lot to be able to see every time the positive, to keep moving.
To keep the momentum going in a forward direction. Yeah.
For you, Deanna, you not only found a new partner, but you also moved to another country.
Yes.
Yeah. And what did your family say? Your husband? That you said, well, okay, I quit my job, I become a full-time athlete again, and and moved to another country.
Yeah, I think at the time when I was looking for another partner, everyone was really supportive because they knew that I wasn't done. Like I was very verbal, saying I don't feel like I'm finished. I feel like I have a lot more to offer. I came back because I didn't want to have regrets when I'm 80 years old, and sitting around wondering, oh, could I have done that? I didn't want to have any regrets, and I go, and if I stop now, I'm going to have regrets. I'm not done. Like I feel like I'm not finished. So everyone was pretty supportive, as far as my move to Canada went. I think this is all pre-COVID, pre-border lockdowns. That definitely was a challenge that no one could have anticipated. But certainly, being in Quebec is interesting because French is their first language and it's not mine. So that's been an experience, but Max is super helpful with all of that stuff.
You're doing great in French. She
trying.
like she said earlier, she thinks she's no good in everything. She's way better than she
Just say, I try.
Say that.
But I like it. The Skate Canada has been so welcoming and open arms to me. The Quebec Federation's been very welcoming, so I really have no complaints. It was only the time of COVID when I couldn't see my family that made it tough. Yeah.
Yeah, that is hard.
Yeah.
Your programs are both new and they are also interesting and beautiful. Can you talk a little bit about how you picked them, the tango for the program and the Cleopatra?
So usually Deanna have always the idea for music, always. But for the short program this year, it was José Picard's choice.
Yeah, it was our coach, Jose. She said, I really think that you guys should skate to a tango. And I was like, okay. I wasn't really sold on it in the beginning. She's like, I'm going to send you a few pieces of music. And I was like, okay. And then she sent us Oblivion, which is the opening one. And I was like, okay, I am married to that song. Like I'm like, I'll do a tango if that's the song that we skate to. So that was the kind of from her, and then Cleopatra was my idea. I had that idea 2 years ago. I wanted to. I love portraying strong female protagonists in general, and I wanted to give. I wanted to give Max a strong character to represent also. So I am Cleopatra, and he is Julius Caesar, and Julius Caesar is is the first Roman emperor that Cleopatra seduced, and he left the Roman Empire for her and spent months in Egypt. So at the end, he's on his knee because he dies, but Cleopatra lives on to then seduce Mark Antony, the next Roman Empire. So that was my idea for a long time, and kind of having like an Egyptian-themed program. And as far as free program ideas, like I have every idea until the Olympics planned already. Shorts are harder for me, so I look to our coaches for that. But for the free programs, I love being creative. I love having a theme or an idea that you're going with, and that's definitely my forte. Music is not as much Max's forte.
I'm no good in music.
He has like 10 songs on his phone.
Yes.
You know.
But you make a very good Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
And you have this spectacular lift at the end of your program. I love what you said in the press conference. So can you maybe just, so that's your favorite moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a
Yes,
little bit?
yeah.
Because I think our listeners would like to hear that too.
I say I love the last the last minute of our long program because I am carried around the whole time. So I'm just in the air, smiling at everyone, enjoying spinning around, having a ball. And Maxime looked at me and he said, "Must be nice."
Yes. Your solo is done in minutes before me.
Yeah,
You're
exactly. But for our last lift, Max puts me up into a star lift, and we do our turns to get our levels, and then he does some crossovers and actually picks up speed in the lift, which I find really impressive. And then he goes into an inside edge and then a change edge, outside edge spread eagle with me over his head the entire time.
Yeah.
I remember when he showed this lift to me that it was a possibility, I was like, why haven't we been doing this before? This is so cool.
Take
He's
a long
like, "Oh."
time on music.
Yeah, it's long, so it's hard to fit into a free. But he loves it, and he say what you always say about that lift, about how it's your time.
It's my moment. Like every time I do it, people, like when I change the edge in this pretty goal, everyone is like, "Whoa!" I'm like, oh, "That's my moment." I'm the solo. Like all the other time is Deanna. Deanna. This is my moment.
It's his moment.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, it's amazing, and really looks so spectacular.
Thank you.
Thank you.
An element I think everybody will look forward to seeing in your programs. And to close, maybe, what is your advice to other athletes?
Pursue their dream.
Yeah, to me, it's just really to never give up. I think Aliona Savchenko's story is really inspiring, and I remember she said, like, she posted a lot of things after the Olympics about being surrounded by a good team, and how, you know, even if you just try one more time, you never know what's at the end of that journey. And you know, I really agree with her. I think, like, again, if you ever would told me I would have been here in 5 years, I wouldn't have believed you, and hopefully I'll be somewhere even better in another 5 years. But it was because I took that leap that I'm here in the first place, because it would have been really easy to just stay at my safe job and keep working and not do anything like this. And so, and it goes for all walks of life. It's not even just athletes. It's just to keep on persevering. You know, there's this thing called the rule of thirds, which is if a third of the time you skate bad, a third of the time you're doing pretty good, and a third of the time you're doing great, then you're doing it right. Because if you had too many times that were great, then maybe you're not pushing yourself enough. If you have too many times that are bad, then you're probably not focusing the way you need to focus. So it's not all going to be positive. It's just simply not possible. But you have to push through it, and you're going to end up being so rewarded by it in your life later, no matter what it is, sports or otherwise.
Yeah. And just always keep going. Find your fun in what you do, and like this you're going to be able to keep going. If you don't have fun, it's hard to keep pushing. It's a passion in the first place, skating.
Yeah.
And that's what have kept me in the sport so long also. So with the joy of skating, everything's possible. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And
Thank
as you
you.
said at the press conference, also another you have so many great quotes. There's no age limit.
On passion.
Oh,
yeah. There's no age limit to passion, no. That's why our coach is still coaching, and Tamara Masvina at 80, there's no age limit. Yeah.
So true. So thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Very much. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
in another 2 weeks.
Yeah.